Welcome back to Day by Day, you guys. My name's Evan, and this is where we get 1% better every day. These last 7 years, I've gone through things, trials and tribulations that I've taken as lessons, things that I've learned that I want to impart with the world. Just to let you know how someone in their 20s dealt with these things, and maybe you relate, maybe you don't, maybe you know somebody that is going through something like this. So make sure to share the video with them so that they can feel what I felt and maybe give them a little bit of insight on how it looks like on the other side. So before we go into this topic, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in and for giving me this time of your day. This topic has to do with raising a child. I don't have a kid, but I do have a fur baby, which is my pride and joy. He is right here. It's just the cutest thing in the world. His name's Rigby. He's an Australian Shepherd. I raised him from 3 months to about a year and a couple months. So I raised him for a year. And at the time, it was like peak, or no, we like ended 2020. Or no, it was like peak 2020. And so I get this dog with my mom and dad, and we drove all the way up to Sacramento and then came all the way down. And I was living at my parents' house at the time because of 2020, and I lost my job, and I was going to school, so it was just this whole thing. And when I started to really realize like how much this dog meant to me was after maybe like a couple months, and I was really owning like everything about it, like training him, giving him food, what food to give him, what bones to give him, how often I'd walk him, just like when he'd go to sleep, where he'd go to sleep, who's watching him. I was so wrapped around this puppy, man. Like I saw parts of me that I didn't know. The dad in me, I was like, that's my child, like I didn't want anybody to train him the wrong way, teach him the wrong thing. I wanted him to be smart and cunning because I know the breed. I didn't know the breed. Like I actually had no clue about the breed. My buddy, that I've known for 16 years, I've never met before. His name's Keith. Shout out Keith. He was telling me about his friends' Australian Shepherds and the Australian Shepherds that, and he grew up in the like Midwest and the South. And so like when he would tell me about how they would discipline and like make these breeds obey a command, it was like no brainer for me because this dog just like exudes a hardy and strong energy. But my loving and caring, my mushy heart was like, no, I can't smack him on the rump with a newspaper. I'm just gonna smack the floor. And that's what I did. And instead of, hitting him, which like I think that when you get a dog that's like big and burly and you can't control the dog, like there's no point to smack the dog, but to show them the force of like, hey, look, I'm bigger than you, and I know you don't understand this, but like you don't scare me. That type of energy, they'll feel it. And I never hit him. I never put him into submission. It was more of like a, dude, why are you ripping up my new shoes? Or why are you peeing in the house? Like those things are or were like it just brought the fire out of me. And Um, and so I respect and I'm so grateful for the knowledge that I gained from other people about the breed, because I didn't know the breed. And so growing with this dog, it was like I knew how smart this dog could be, so I wanted him. Like the sky was the limit, you know. Like there was nothing that I couldn't teach this dog. And within the first couple months, I taught him how to sit, lay down, roll over, shake, um, to heel. Um, I trained him to do this thing where, like, oh, leave it, but like also I trained him to do this thing where, like, I'd hold two treats or one hand with a treat and put him off to the side, and then have him, like, I'd say watch, and he would look at my eyes, and that's when I would give him the treat, because it showed me that, okay, he's not focused on the treat, he's waiting for me. And that's kind of the connection. And if anybody has a dog or a puppy, I'm going to tell you that that connection right there is what you need in the beginning. The readiness, the patience to what you're going to say next is so important, because if you just go watch and he glances at you and then looks at the hands and then glances at you and then you give him the treat, then he's just waiting for the treat. He doesn't know what you're doing. But if he's looking at you and, like, so still and just waiting, then that's that connection of, like, I'm going to wait for you on what you say, your word goes. I just want to please you. I just want to make sure that I'm doing what's in line with what you're saying. And this goes for all dogs, but like mainly like shepherds, or just a very smart, like cunning, quick dog. Um, Not to say they're stupid dogs, but I'm just saying, like, I I felt this from this breed and still feel passionate about it. I go back to my parents' house and he's not the same dog anymore, because he's lived with grandma and grandpa for 3 years. But when I go back, it's like I still see little bits of that, like, the cunning, the smart, the keen, puppy that I raised. Uh, but yeah, like that process was just such a beautiful thing to go through, because at one point, oh my god, at one point I was engulfed by the love that I had for this puppy. And um I think I forget what my parents did or what I did or what we were disagreeing on, but my parents were like, "Okay, we're putting that crate in our room because you're losing it. You need a break." And I was like, "What? What do you mean I need a break? Like, no, that's my dog." And they were like, "No, you need a break. Like, we're gonna give you a break." And they probably saw what maybe my dad saw what my mom was doing with my brother, who's 6 years older than me. So, like, the first time that they had a kid, and was like, "Hey, dude, like, you need to chill." But whatever the case, I'm grateful for that time because it allowed me to, like, reflect. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of obsessed with this little life. And the whole process of raising this dog changed me, because it forced me to give love, like undying love, towards something that didn't know any better. And in the Bible, I'm not trying to quote the Bible, like, and say that I follow it, but in the Bible there's a quote that says, God forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. Jesus died on the cross and was being, nailed to the cross, and he looks up and says, "God, please forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." We don't know what we're doing. Society is a complicated thing. And so I relate the fact that the dog didn't know what he was doing when he peed in the house, but I was there to, like, I was like God to him, basically. I was there to make sure that he knew that like that's not okay. Whereas when I reflect on it into things in my life, like when I do things that I don't know that is a wrong thing to do, and then God comes in and like smoking cigarettes or doing drugs or staying out until 5 a.m. for 4 days in a row. God comes down maybe like a week later and goes, "Hey, dude, so I'm going to make it so that like you don't feel good for another week. And then you're going to get sick. And then your car is going to get towed. Just so you know that that wasn't okay. That wasn't good for your body. You're doing things, like it just trickles. It trickles down, and those moments of like teaching him, and then taking that time, that like month of my parents kind of stepping in, and I still trained him, fed him and whatever, but I just wasn't doing like the night shift and the morning shift. When I had that time to reflect, it still impacts me today, and I still think about it. Maybe not as much as before, because I'm very far past like the importance of those lessons. Like they're just kind of ingrained in me, and I live by them. I don't think about them, but when I do think about them, I think of how we might, like I might not know what I'm doing in the moment of doing wrong, but I know that if I feel it, if I feel like it's not the right thing to do, then God's going to make something happen to make sure that I know that it wasn't the right thing to do. So I just I avoid those things like it's the plague. Uh, and then like loving something that, and it could know English or not, like just loving something to the fullest extent with appreciation of who they are, what they do, and how they do it. That I think was a huge part of my learning journey, because it allowed me to love people more, and allowed me to love what I do more. It allowed me to love new skills more, and the time that I had for those skills more. So, raising that little guy was such a life-changing experience. And this goes out to all the dog and cat and turtle and frogs and horse and cow mothers and fathers, and obviously human mothers and fathers. Have some more grace for yourself. They're going to be just fine. There's so much that you want them to know. And just like you guys, like I wish I could just impart all of the things I know. But you can't make the horse drink the water. You can lead them to the pond. The only thing that matters is that you're there, providing presence, providing unwavering love. That is all a kid needs, all a little life needs. As long as you're there. You don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to be somebody providing the world for them. Their world is you. So if you're just there for them, they'll be good. And God's got them. God's got you. God's got them. They're going to learn on their process, on their soul's journey. You can set them up to make sure that they're, destined for success. Don't be surprised if the success doesn't look like the way that you set them up to be, because everyone's success looks different. So even if you provide $1 million runway, and their success looks like a $200,000 success, you just have to knock that expectation down. And I learned that with my dog. You know, the success that I looked after, I was like, he's going to be pressing buttons to, you know, communicate with my parents, and like how he needs to go about his day. And he's never going to jump on the counter. He's never, like, my expectation was so high for his success. And now that it's not there, I had to knock it off. I had to be like, okay, it's okay that it's not like that. All that mattered was that I was there for him. And now his success is being there for my parents. And that's the truest statement of it all. Like, I'm just happy that he's successful in that, because it brings me joy to know that my presence with that dog provided so much love and presence for somebody else. So I hope this story of my journey through puppyhood gave you a little insight on parenting, or somebody's, you know, experience with puppyhood or kittyhood, or whatever hood they're in. Go ahead and share it with those people so that they can learn what I've learned, and from a different perspective. Like, be open-minded when you hear this. It's not something that I'm like, oh, I pray that you do this. Like, no, just hear me and apply it to your life, to your journey. So before you leave, share it with a friend, comment what you think that I left out, or what I need to say next time in a topic like this. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you don't miss the next one. We got one more after this. I think it's one more. Yeah. Welcome, or thank you for watching Day by Day, where we get 1% better. Have a good day, you guys.